Hey there, sweet friends. This is Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. It has been such a long time since I've done a video. I thought I would jump on today and share with you guys some of the stuff that I've been working on in my spare time, which is very limited right now, but nonetheless, I do try to carve out some time for my sanity and my well-being to get some creativeness going. So the first thing I will show you is how my my junk planner altered book is coming along. It's almost complete, and I thought I would start a new one. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can get a little bit better. Whoops, not that much. I thought I was going to start a new journal for October, but I just don't have the gumption to do it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and add my October month. There were some spaces that I had available, and so I was able to squeeze in a month for October, or a spread for October. So if you are new to this journal or new to my channel, this is an altered book that I keep as a sort of planner and just kind of an everyday journal. I do gratitude journaling, but the way I do it is kind of a daily collage type of, like, I just sit down and just start writing out things that I am thankful for. I had been in the practice of setting up, a week to 10 days and putting the dates on, but since probably the beginning of August, my life has been turned upside down, and I haven't done that. So what I've done is just any time I sit down, and it may be once every 2 weeks or something, I just think, okay, what am I grateful for? And I put something in there. I'll tell you what I'm not grateful for is this little piece right here. It won't stick, so we'll just take that off. So anyway, you can see this is one of my gratitude spreads that I just started last Sunday, and then I haven't touched it again. Today's Saturday, so yeah. I'm not journaling daily. I wish I was. I'm hoping to get back into journaling daily, maybe a little bit later in the fall. I'm hoping, because that does keep me sane. But right now, journaling is not happening daily. I'm shooting for once a week, so that's kind of been my go-to, is on the weekends. If I have time, I try to carve out some time to get creative and to do some journaling. So you can see I have still some blank pages here that I can add to, which is good because I just didn't have the energy to alter another book and get started. There's something about starting a new journal. It requires some energy, and I just didn't have it. And I'm not talking about, like, the physical work of altering the book. I'm just talking about just some headspace of being able to wrap my brain around something new. And yeah, I don't know. So I felt comfortable in this. And so I'm able to carve out a little space for October. And I kind of like the challenge of not having enough spaces, but still wanting to keep journaling. And the reason why I like that challenge is because it really forces me to get creative and very intentional with what I put in and how much space it takes up. And so I really like that when I push myself to cram stuff into a small space. I really like how it turns out. So this is one I just finished up last week. I think I did an Instagram post on this one, but I hadn't finished this part right here. So that was my gratitude. This was my month of August. Here's my October. So you can see I don't have anything started. Here we are today. I don't have anything on here. These are just some old notes that I had left over on this page. So it's set up, it's blank. I just need to fill some stuff in. And then here's here's a blank space right here, and I think that's the end. Yep, that's the end. So I have a lot of teeny little crevices that I can go and fill in. I think this was September. Yeah, this is September. So I need, if I want to, I have a little bit of space down here for this week, but I'll be honest, this week was not worth journaling. So I think I'll probably just leave September as it is, and then I'll just jump on over to October and start filling in things. And things that I put here are if I have something coming up that I know of, or birthdays, things like that. So October is my birthday month, and I love, 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 love October, and I love my birthday. So a sweet friend reminded me today. She sent me a message and reminded me that it was my birthday month, and so yes, thank you, my love, and I am going to get excited about my birthday month. If for no other reason, just to make myself happy. So there you go. I've been working on that, and I do believe I'm going to need to, at the end of October, I'm going to need to alter another book and start a whole new one. So let's look at a couple other journals that I've been working on. So, and I'm going to zoom out because this one's a little bit bigger. So I've been trying to find peace and comfort. As I am sure most of you guys probably are having, you know, just a lot of anxiety and stuff around things that are going on in the world today. And so I don't carry my anxiety very well. I don't carry my frustrations and my fears and sadness very well. And so I have to draw on things that comfort me. And I get comforted by food, and not just the act of eating food, although I do like to eat, but more baking and cooking. That's what grounds me, is baking and cooking. And if I don't cook a meal every night, I feel disjointed. Now, I may not have all of my family there to eat it, but it's just, that's my comfort. That's what grounds me. It doesn't matter how stressed I am, I have to cook a meal. And by meal, I'm not talking like full-on 7-course meal. I'm just talking about cooking something so that I can eat, my family can eat. And many times I cook it and I don't even eat it, just because, I don't know, after you've cooked a while, you just feel like you don't want to eat. But nonetheless, it's the act of cooking that comforts me. So anyway, here's where I'm going with this. I have a cookbook of just my recipes, and recipes that have been handed down. And these are the ones that are tried and true. And I have them in this big binder, and I've had them in this binder for over 15 years. And it's just, the binder is falling apart, and it's just a hot mess. And a lot of those recipes I don't even use. So I've been wanting to make a cookbook of my personal recipes that I just love, love, and love. But I also wanted to combine it and turn it into a journal, and use some of my old vintage cookbooks and some of the images and some of those wacky recipes from the 50s and 60s, and just kind of put it all together. So here we go. This is what I started. So this was a binder, and it was falling apart, so I just taped it. But I love this particular binder. I love the Betty Crocker binders, and this one was an older version, so I love that. So I'm still working on this, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want this to work, but I'll just show you what I have done so far. So in my mind, this is going to be a working cookbook. This is a cookbook that I will have up in my kitchen on my shelf, and when I want to go make one of my tried and true recipes, because I need that comfort, I need that peace, I'm going to grab this. But I also wanted this to be visually pleasing. I want this to be something that I can get some of my creativity. I can use images from cookbooks that make me happy. So it can also be something that I just sit and look at. I also wanted it so that I could add more things to it. And ultimately, I want to be able to, when I am gone, pass this down to my kids, because our life is built around these things, in particular, like these chocolate chip cookies. So this is a staple in our house, and so this this recipe deserved a really big presence in this book, and it got a really big presence in this book. And so this was kind of my thoughts behind this book. So let me show you a couple of things I've done. And if I ever get time where life slows down a little bit, I actually wanted to do a series on this and set one up with you guys. I have a ton of these binders that I would love to put in my Etsy shop and get them out to people who can't, you know, don't have these or can't find them in thrift stores and stuff. I've been collecting them for a long time, but right now life is just too crazy, and I can't put that on my plate. But that is my goal. My goal is to do a series and help you guys set up a similar cookbook, but then also make versions of it. I've got a garden one that I've set up that I would love to share with you guys. So yeah, there's lots of stuff in the works. I just don't have the time or the capacity right now to do it. So let me show you what I've done. So what I did was, I love to take pictures of food, but if you're like me, they're always just stuck on my phone. So I have just sat down and printed off every single picture that I've taken, whether it's my garden, my cooking, just anything. And so I've got all my pictures printed. That was step number one. I also went through and I dismantled my old binder, and I decided, what do I want to keep and what do I want to get rid of? And so recipes that I've just held on to, like somebody gave me at work or something, and I never actually did it. If I know I'm not going to do it, I know I'm not going to cook it, I put it in a separate pile. I'm putting in here the ones I know I cook all the time and the ones that I love. So my thought was I wanted some pages that were going to be, you know, exposed, and they were going to be textural. And somebody put this in an Instagram post, and it was perfect. She called them fluffy. She said a fluffy page, and I totally get that. A fluffy page. It has fabric, and maybe it's interactive, and it's decorative. If you are a cooker or a baker, you know that you do not want those in your kitchen, at least for me, because I am a totally messy cooker, messy baker, messy. I just walk in the kitchen and it's a hot mess. So I wanted some of those pages to be fluffy, but then I also wanted my pages where I had the recipes, I wanted them to not be fluffy. So some of them are protected with some old page protectors. So this actually came from an old cookbook, and I had modified it 15 years ago and put it in my binder. And so then I pulled it out of this binder, and now I modified it again and repunched holes in it, cleaned them up, and now these are perfect for this cookbook. So let's say it's Christmas time and I want to go make my muddy snowballs. I'm just going to grab this because it's protected, it's in plastic, and I'm going to take it over to where I bake, and I'm going to use this. When I get it all messy, I just wipe it off. But I also have, you know, like this. This is a page that is not protected, but it's got all of these little cool tidbits and images that kind of go along with this, because this is about chocolate, and so I put some baking chocolate and stuff here because that's what makes these cookies so good. And then I found this in an old cookbook. It's just tips about chocolate. This is fluffy. I wouldn't take this out of the cookbook. I would leave it in. It's just there for decoration and to make me feel happy, and I could actually read it and get information from it. So there's that. Again, when I do this series, I'll go more into detail into what I've got going on in here. And like I said, my plan is to do this with you, have a series where I do this with you. So I was kind of stuck because some of my recipes didn't fit in these already modified page protectors, but I still wanted to have them, but I wanted to have them so that I could pull them out and go make the recipes. So my husband got a laminator for his classroom, just a little small laminator for his classroom. And it's really cheap. The one I ended up and got was like a Scotch. Let me show it to you. It's this one right here, and I'm not bit, and I'm not affiliated with these guys, so please don't think I'm trying to peddle their products. I'm just showing you what I bought. I got this one at Target, and it was like $25. So the whole thing is, I typically steer clear of things like that. I don't, if you know me, you know I'm a big person that's like, I don't like to put more plastic into the world and stuff like that. But in this case, I'm bending my rules. And the reason why is because some of my recipes needed this coating, because I am going to use, I want this to be preserved forever, however long forever is. It's not going to be a single-use plastic for me. So I kind of debated back and forth on to whether or not I wanted to go get the laminator. When I saw that it was only $25, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, because my goal is I want my recipes to withstand, you know, the test of time. So there you go. There's my, I'm bending my rules, and I am going to use something that I went out and bought brand new and all that good stuff, but I'm okay with it. And you, if you're doing something similar to this, you would just have to decide if you're okay with that. But I'm really happy with that laminator, and I think it's going to work well when I go to make my chocolate chip cookies. I'm just going to pull this out. There's my recipe, and you know, it gets dirty. I just wipe it off, and then I pop it back in. Okay, so there is my recipe book that I've been working on. And here's a recipe this is my husband's pancake recipe, and so I'm going to put that in, and I took pictures of some pancakes, and so maybe I'll do that today. All right, let me show you the last thing I'm working on. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, it was a day, let me tell you. And I just needed to go. So I went outside, and I actually live behind a school, and it's kind of out in the country. I'm about a half hour, 20 minutes south of Kansas City. So not really suburbs, but kind of out in the country. And I went for a walk, and it was an amazing walk. And so in this walk, I just took tons of pictures. Okay, I took pictures of every single thing. The leaves hadn't quite yet turned colors. People might have thought that things looked ugly, but on that particular day, I was in awe of how pretty everything was. And so I just took a bunch of pictures. And I probably was on this walk for an hour and a half or so. And when I got home, I was like, you know what, I'm going to print those pictures. I also picked up a few items along the way. And as I got home, I decided I really want to showcase those items I picked up, because that was the beauty of that walk, was just picking up those things that nature has, thrown away. They died, they fell off of the tree or the plant, and I felt like I needed to resurrect those and preserve them, because it was very inspiring to me. So this just happened to be the same weekend that I got that laminator. So what I did was I came home, I dried whatever it was that I had, I dried it in the microwave, and there is a super simple way to dry them. If you go to Thefrugalcrafter on YouTube, she has a really good video. Her name is Lindsay. She has a really good video on how to dry things in the microwave. And so I dried these in the microwave, and then I ran them through my laminator and decided to turn them into my cover. And then I did the same thing with another set of items, and I put them in the center. So this journal is going to be about that walk, and I just decided all those pictures, I'm going to put them in here. And I don't know what the purpose of this journal is, other than to just make me happy. That is the only purpose. So I found some papers, and I threw them in here. I'll go back and I'll show you what I've done so far. Found some papers, I threw them in here, and I had very little energy when I was doing this. So if the papers were not something that was laying on my desk already, I didn't go and find it. Like all of these things that you're going to see are papers that I had sitting right there on my desk or buried under a pile. So like this is from a newspaper, and it's about a recipe for white bread. And here's why I put this in, because it starts off, it's like a Dear Abby type of article here. It says, "Dear Nan, do you have a recipe for making 2 loaves of white bread? I am tired of bakery bread." And I saw that and I thought, okay, that woman's problem, that woman's problem is that she's tired of store-bought or bakery bread. It wasn't even store-bought bread, it was bakery bread. And I thought, God, wouldn't that be awesome if that was the extent of my problems right now? Wouldn't that be amazing if that was the biggest worry I had right now, was how to get around bakery bread? And I just thought, how ridiculous, but how profound. And so I put that in here. And it looked really good on the paper too. And so that kind of set up the whole stage for this journal, is just like, if that can be someone's problem, then the answers can be so simple. And that's kind of what this is. Here are my answers to my problem of just being super, super overwhelmed and stressed right now. These are my answers. So what I've done is I've just slapped down pictures, and I've pulled out my old trusty, get it here, my old trusty Dick and Jane book that is just a hot mess, but oh, I love this so much. And I've pulled this out and I thought, you know what, let's just put some Dick and Jane stuff in here too. And I pulled from another book. Let's see, it is, oh, here it is. Here's the stuff I'm using for this. So this is one of my favorite golden books. And again, I have a ton of these books that I, at one point in time, thought I was going to sell on Etsy. And I just don't have the energy to do it right now. But yes, this book I love because the images are just amazing. And so I've been pulling from this book. As a teacher, I have a lot of worksheets and stuff from when I taught elementary school. And so I pulled from some of those. I have a lot of plant ones, and so I've been pulling those out and sticking them in here, which is kind of fun. And so you can see this was from a weekly reader that, I think this was when I taught 3rd grade. And then I matched it with some pictures. I'm using some stickers and yeah, some washi tape, just really simple. Just not thinking too much about it. This is a bag from a paper source store. And so these are pockets right here. And so I know that I don't have enough pictures to fill up this whole thing, but here's what it got me thinking about. There are other fine fall days that I have had, and I have pictures of those fine fall days. And so I think what I may do is go back through my pictures once I'm done with all the pictures that I have here from that walk I took. I think what I'll do is go back and look at some of my older pictures. I know there was one that my son and I, my youngest son and I, we had this really cool adventure. One day when my middle son was at soccer practice, my younger son and I, we went walking around in the woods, and it was just an awesome adventure. And I just happened to have a camera, and we took pictures. And you know, to me, that would go with what I have going on in here, and it would just add to the story. So that's the other journal that I'm working on. So there you go, my friends. And again, I would love to do a series on this, and if I have time later, this would be amazing. And it would even be amazing to go back and do it again in the spring when we have a whole new you know, horizon out here with things in bloom and things sprouting rather than things dying and falling and things like that. It would just be amazing. So there's what I have been working on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little long, and I hope you guys are healthy. I hope you guys are happy. I hope you found something inspiring here, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye.